orange and blue. Boys will stand and cheer for you.
All right, Bronco Nation, here we go. We are the Bronco Elevation live group. Toss it over to Nick. How you doing, Nick?
Great. Hey, Bronco Nation. Welcome to another edition of Bronco Nation Live. I'm your host, Nick Wade. I am joined tonight by Sam Gillette of Sam Talk Sports and our Boise State expert recruiting guy, Chris Van Sickle of Blue Turf Talk with Chris B. So right away, tonight we are going to showcase all of the recruits that signed aboard who are coming into the class of 2025, as well as some of those transfers. So we'll start with you, Chris. Why don't you tell Bronco Nation about the quote unquote blackout for the freshmen coming in?
Yeah. So with the media and the freshmen coming in, once they get onto campus, they have a media blackout, which is totally understandable. These young men need to focus on getting started in college. So we are going to have a couple players on. Neither of them are on campus right now. But I'm super excited to have them on. But if you're ever wondering, why didn't we hear from so-and-so freshman player or even another role Boise State has is if they're in the first semester at Boise State, they are usually blacked out from the media. So just so you know, that's why you're not seeing some of these kids on there, because they're already on campus and hopefully they're out working out and we'll watch this as a replay. Go ahead.
As we continue on, we're going to have some guests on. So make sure that you participate with us, comment, and we'll bring your comments and your questions live during the show. So the process works best on YouTube, but we're also on Facebook and on Instagram and X. So go ahead and shoot us your comments, questions for any of these recruits. But we have a jam-packed show. We've got a lot of information for you. Really appreciate Sam Talk Sports for gathering a lot of information that we're going to be sharing with you tonight. So thank you.
There's a lot of it too.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Sam. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to do this. And just so you guys know, I had this idea last week. The show we put together would take the pros probably months to put together perfectly. So there's probably going to be some hiccups here and there, and that's okay. Everyone has hiccups. But we're going to put this show out to you. We're going to get you the information that you want as Boise State fans. And shoot those comments and questions to us. We'll put them on live, and we'll answer the ones that we can and tell you where to go to find the answer if we can't. But this is going to be a fun show. The fans make it fun. So let's dive in.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
So first up, I'm not even going to try to say this name, so I'm going to let you do it, Chris.
Daniil Starykh is going to be my best bet. That's me speaking the closest thing to German as I've ever had to do. Yeah, so this young man, I'll toss this back up there just to give some information. He's from Germany, Berlin, offensive lineman. Boise State has a great history of the international players. That right now they have Chase Baker over there, a former Bronco, that is a great ambassador for the international players to Boise State, and I would bet this has that he had an influence on Daniil coming to Boise State. This is a big kid. Hasn't been playing football all that long, but that's okay. You got to learn. You can't teach size. I mean, I guess you kind of can, but this young man just has a nasty streak. I'll toss it over to Sam. You want to talk about Daniil? Sorry if I'm butchering that, by the way.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, he's 6'4", 290 pounds, which is something Boise State needs on the offensive line to help our running backs break free, like Genty did all last year. If Genty had some of these big guys, who knows what he could have done? Maybe put 4,000 up. Who knows? I'm being overly optimistic here. He's ranks 146 on 24/7's composite ranking in his position, and ESPN he ranks 130. So he had offers from Akron, Appalachian State, Florida Atlantic, and Western Kentucky, as well as Arkansas State, as well as some of the FBS or FCS schools out there as well. He's rated as a 3-star who signed back December of last year. So I'm excited to see what he does on the blue. I think we're going to end up as bad as it sounds, but at the same time, it's good because we get to find those diamonds in the roughs. I think a lot of what Boise State is going to be, at least for the foreseeable future, is more developmental. I think we're going to end up getting those guys that are a little rough around the edges and then mold them into the Ryan Clady's of the world.
I think you're exactly right. Yes. Nick, do you have anything on? And I see that we have a comment. Maybe it's just Daniel. I'm probably overthinking it. Let's go with Daniel.
I was going to say I'm agreeing with Maui Snow Tech. I've been in my head. I've been processing the name as Daniel, but I'm kind of optimistic with Daniel. Just for the simple fact because we saw a couple years ago Max Stiege came from Germany. And he's been working out really well for us. So I'm really optimistic about Daniel.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So super excited about that young man. We'll move on to the next one. This young man, we're going to have some film for you when we can find it. Jacob Tracy is the young man we're going to talk about. I could not find his senior film, and his junior film doesn't quite tell the whole story simply because his senior year was the first time that he completely played offensive line. His junior film was all as a tight end. This is a big kid out of Yelm, Washington. He came in early. He was practicing during spring ball. He's lean. Don't get me wrong. He's lean. But he'll pack on that weight. You've got Cage Casey sitting in front of him. He has the classic left tackle body. You want him lean, big hips, maybe even a large caboose, if you will. I don't know. Something to anchor him down. Let's put it that way. You want your left tackle to, if you're playing tug of war, to have the rope around him. And that's what these guys will have. Jacob Tracy has a huge upside. And like I said, he played tight end up until last season. So give this young man some time to develop. Nick, do you have any thoughts on Tracy? Jacob Tracy?
Yeah, I just like to have a lot of depth at the OL. So again, I'm really optimistic. I'm really optimistic because the coaches know how to pick the OKGs for out there. So yeah, I think he'll be a great addition to the team.
Yeah, we have another gentleman from Yelm High School as well that we'll talk about later on. But Jacob, he's a first-team all-conference at left tackle. He helped lead Yelm to a 7-3 record in the trip to the playoffs. 6'6", 253 pounds. Kind of makes you wonder if Maddox can see over that line that we're getting in. But I have faith that he can do it. He was 133 for his position at 24/7 Sports, and ESPN have him ranked 179. He's ranked the 18th or 19th, depending on which outlet you look at in his state as well. But as Chris said, he was a tight end up until his senior year. So, and you're going to see that a lot with some of these recruits coming in, especially the ones in smaller schools. They played multiple positions, not because they were necessarily the best at multiple positions, but that's what needed to happen, right? Especially in those smaller schools. And Boise State likes to go to those smaller schools and find those OKGs and get them on the roster.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, offensive line depth, you can never have enough of that, as we know. So super excited for Jacob Tracy. Moving right along, this is a young man out of a high school powerhouse, Bishop Gorman High School. Steuart Tafuteafu. I'll take a shot at that. We talked about the classic left tackle build. Well, this is a classic center build, in my opinion. A little bit shorter, little thicker, maybe in the shoulders. This kid had a lot of offers: Fresno State, Arizona State, Arkansas, Baylor. You go down the line. This is an extremely talented young man from an extremely talented high school where he faced the best of the best. So this young man, and this is another young man that did come in early. He was in there during spring ball. I did see him. He was wearing number 52. He did see time simply because there were some injuries along the offensive line. I do not expect this young man to play this season. I don't truly ever expect any offensive lineman to play as a true freshman. That would not bode well for them. You need some time to build that body armor up. Sam, let's talk about Steuart here.
Yes, sir. He's 6'1", 300 pounds. Like you said, that short, stocky. That's perfect for that center, especially where you got to keep that low center of gravity. He helped Bishop Gorman to a state title. He played both sides of the ball. He has on the offense that averaged 411 yards per game, 42.3 points per game. And the defense, playing on the defense side of the ball, I know he's going to be offense, but that Bishop Gorman defense helped outscore opponents by 462 points. So he comes from a successful program. He knows success. He knows how to be successful. And he gets in the weight room and puts on a little bit more bulk and muscle, and we could have an unstoppable center that the Power 4 schools are going to come and try and poach.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick, toss it over to you. Do you have any thoughts on this young man?
Yeah, I've just heard nothing but good things about him. So, yeah, I agree. I think he's going to be great for our future. So I'm glad to see, especially coming from a prestigious high school like Gorman. So very optimistic still on the line.
Yeah, and I will let viewers know. We were super excited about these young men, but there's only so much we can say. So we might toss it over to Sam. You might toss it over to me, and I'll go, "Yep, that's all right." And that's all. That's great. That means we've got our bases covered. So I hope you understand why sometimes we just got that blank stare where that's it. That's all I got. So moving on to the next young man, and I am communicating with our first guest. He is working on his camera, looks like. He said he'll be on in just a second. That's going to be Dallyn Grimes. We're going to talk about him as well. But we'll next up talk about a big-time transfer that Boise State got. Miles Walker comes from Ohio State University. I think you've probably heard about that university once or twice. Did not play much at Ohio State, but you don't get to Ohio State by an accident. Was a highly recruited player coming out of high school. I'm sure was highly recruited once he got into the transfer portal. I can report from my observations from spring camp, was playing right tackle. I can also report, and this isn't anything groundbreaking, I just saw it with my eyes, so I feel I can report it. As he left the field from spring practice, he was in a cast. So I'm not sure what exactly happened. I am crossing my fingers and saying my prayers that he is ready to come back and play because he is a very talented young man. Sam, let's talk about how big this kid is. Yeah, he's a pretty big boy.
6'5", 317 pounds. I don't want to line up on the other side of him.
No.
So he pushed me over, and I'm not a light feller either. He ranks 125 at his position as a transfer. And again, that's due to the lack of playing time. You're at Ohio State. You may be good enough to be on that roster as a backup where you could start anywhere else. So I think he's going to be good to go. He was ranked number 2 in the state whenever he was a high schooler coming into college. He did redshirt his freshman year. That's why you didn't hear about him much, and he didn't play at all last year. But he did win the NEPSAC Class A Bowl in high school, and I believe that's Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yeah, he's from Connecticut.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited to see what he does. If he is injured, I hope it's a speedy recovery. He's got plenty of time to do that, obviously.
Yeah.
And as a redshirt freshman at 317 pounds and 6'5", I see nothing but bright things if he stays.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the competition at right tackle, you look back at the Fiesta Bowl and Hall Schmidt was the starting right tackle. There really was not much question about that. That being said, I don't feel like Hall Schmidt quite ended the season on the best foot. You may have been injured. I will not speculate on that. And I think that competition at right tackle will be open right back up. Not just for Hall Schmidt and Miles Walker, but I'll toss a name out there. Again, my names are not great today. Dallyn Matoyer, I want to say his name is. He played some of the Fiesta Bowl as well. Played really well. So watch out for that right tackle position. I think it's going to be wide open again. And who knows? We may have another starting right tackle, and there's nothing wrong with that because iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
Nick, do you have anything else?
Yeah, really optimistic until I heard. I did not see that at the spring game, but you can just like you said, just hope and pray that the young man will be healthy by the time we get to South Florida.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree with Matoyer. He's a hungry young man as well. So, regardless, I think we have the staff up there to protect Mad Dog.
Yep. Next up is he's our guest, but I'm not going to bring him on yet. First, we're going to brag him up a little bit, so hopefully he's blushing when he comes on. He's a local kid, and I love, born and raised in Idaho, potato eating. Actually, I'm not. I do low carb. Dallyn Grimes, super excited for this young man. Now, he is going to, I'm told, and he'll confirm maybe here in a minute, that he's going to go on a mission, so you're not going to see him for a couple of years. We wish him nothing but the best and nothing but safety and safe travels wherever he ends up. But this young man, extremely talented. I love what I'm seeing from him. I'll toss it over to you, Nick. I kind of have forgotten about some of these highlights there. I'm going to go back and find some of them. But I'll toss it over to you guys to hype this kid up.
Yeah, you know what? I always love a local product staying at home because they know how special the iconic blue is. So when you find those kind of people, those are the truest of our kind of guys. I mean, just recently we had John Ojoku come through here, and he's thriving in the NFL. And I want to see more of our big guys come in here, the local product, bring in the talent from in-state. And the ones that know how special the blue is, they're going to be here and they're going to make the most of it. And, sky's the limit. We can produce NFL talent right here in this state. And, that's what I see in Dallyn. So I'm super excited when he does get on the blue to see what this young man can do.
Yeah. At 6'5", 225 pounds too. We're racking in the big guys. I'd like to see him put on a little more weight in these 2 years. That he's going to be going on.
Depending on where he goes, that might not be a problem. Some places are probably going to be a problem. So,
but he's number 2 in the state of Idaho, so it's not like he's no slouch either. So he knows what he's doing with the weight that he has. So I'm not knocking that at all. 24/7 has him 128 at his position. And ESPN has him 126. And he's a top 200 on ESPN for the regional as well. So I'm going to be openly optimistic that he comes back off his mission and has about 30 to 40 more pounds of muscle on him, and his pinky finger can push over some of these linemen.
There you go. Yeah, Maui Snow Tech, Polynesia, they'll feed you well there, no doubt about that. Well, without further ado, we're going to bring on, here he is, Dallyn Grimes. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're having some technical difficulties. Go to Nickel and switch him over. Thank you. So first off, thank you so much for coming on and taking the time. Have you gotten your mission order? Do you know where you're going yet?
I do. I actually leave in 19 days. So, yeah, I'm going to San Diego, California.
Ooh.
You can bulk up down there.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. The weight's a funny topic because I've never been the heaviest guy, but I don't know where some of these numbers come from. I played at 260 all last season, so I've been up there for a little bit now. But yeah, I do hope to gain some weight on my mission as I go out and do that, and kind of just get prepared as much as I can for when I come back.
And just for a second, talk about your senior season. How did that go? And where do you think you grew the most from the start of it to where you finished? That
it was one of those things that my senior season, I kind of felt a lot of pressure going into my senior season. Not from anybody outside, just kind of from myself. I was really wanting to, do really good and kind of have my best season yet. And, I think I was able to accomplish that in some ways. And I think the way I grew the most was probably my leadership with my team. As far as playing on the field goes, I'm confident in my ability to play the game. I don't want to be cocky, but it's one of those things where I've trained really hard and I've practiced every day to get to the position I am. So I know I can play well. But I really grew in leading my team and, getting them to go in the right direction and work hard and have a similar goals as each other and, really generate and create that brotherhood. So.
And for our viewers watching, please drop your questions for Dallyn. We're going to have him on here a couple more minutes. Get your questions in and we'll get them read. Nick, Sam, do you have any questions for Dallyn here?
I do. So for the viewers that may not know or understand, not everyone's aware of the mission stuff. How does that affect, or how did that affect your recruiting process? And what do you do in those 2 years to stay up to speed with everything, so whenever you come back, you're ready to hit the ground running?
Yeah. With the mission, it changes recruiting a little bit because it's also kind of a regional thing. So I was pretty lucky with Boise State and some of the other schools that were recruiting me. They were pretty understanding of it, but and with other schools, it gets less likely because it's just not as common, especially over on the other side of the country. So it definitely does affect recruiting. But the way I attacked that is I was just straightforward with all the coaches that I was talking to, and that was actually something that I really valued with Coach Danielson. Is the day he offered me, I told him, I looked him in the eye. I was kind of nervous because I didn't know how to react because it's a big school and I didn't know what he was going to say. But I told him, I'm going to serve a mission. And he looked me straight in the eye and he told me, no, that's a good thing. That's something you have to do. And he's been super encouraging about it the entire time. They have no qualms with it. They're not worried about me at all. And that's something I've really liked about Boise State is how encouraging they have been of it. And as far as taking care of myself on the mission, they do require you to work out 30 minutes every morning, just in general. But with a lot of cases with, athletes going out there and coming back to college, and a lot of times what they'll do is we'll wake up about 30 minutes earlier than usual, so we get a full hour of workout time, and that's every morning. So whether that be 40 minutes of lifting and 20 minutes of cardio, it's usually you wake up at 5:30, and then you're done with your workout at 6:30, and you go study, read your scriptures, and then you go out and be a missionary for the rest of the day. So there are definitely ways you can stay in shape, and there's been guys before me that have done it and they've been successful. So it's one of those things where I'm putting a lot of my faith in Heavenly Father and that He'll take care of me on my mission. And but it's also up to me to kind of prepare myself for the blessings He has given me and not waste that blessing. So I'm gonna do what I can on my mission and everything I can, and I just trust that he'll take care of the rest.
I like it. Who do you emulate your play style after, or is it your own thing?
It's kind of my own thing. I don't know. I've never really been a big, like I haven't put a whole lot of people up on a pedestal. Like as
Yeah.
far as playing style goes, like I really do enjoy watching the college athletes and NFL athletes do it because they're in a position I want to be in, and obviously they're doing something right. So I like watching them, but I wouldn't necessarily say I model anything after. I would say though, a lot of my playing style kind of came from my brother. He kind of did this before me. He's not going to go. He's on his mission right now. He's not going to play in college or anything like that. But he was really good in high school, and so he was kind of able to help me get some of the technique and stuff like that down earlier than he was able to do it, and that's helped me out a lot. But as far as playing style, I'd say it's a lot of my own deal, and just be myself.
Nice. I like it.
Toss it over for a question here. Does mission affect eligibility at all, or just give a couple years extra to lift and practice? Dallyn, you can address this one.
As far as I know, it doesn't affect eligibility. Actually, I know it doesn't affect eligibility. What it does is they just defer your enrollment. So I'll have to, kind of re-sign, or there's a few steps you have to take and stuff like that. But I don't actually ever I won't become an official student of Boise State until later on. So that's how I'm able to preserve my eligibility and, be able to still have all 5 years.
Absolutely correct. Nick, do you have any questions for Dallyn here?
Yeah, I'm ripping one from the IG. One says, Dallyn, what's been your pregame ritual over there in Milton?
Oh, it was actually, that's funny because my mom makes fun of me about it all the time, but it's nice because over in Middleton we don't have schools on Fridays, so we wake up and we do our early morning walkthrough around 8 a.m. and we're done around 9. If it's a home game, we do a breakfast in the morning. If it's a away game, we do dinner Thursday night. So usually we go to that morning walkthrough, we either grab breakfast, or if it's an away game, I go home and I take my nap. It's about hour, 2 hour nap. Wake up, make sure all my stuff is clean and ready to go. Grab it, and then get myself some electrolytes out the door, and I get to school about an hour and a half early. I'm usually one of the first ones there, kind of trying to be that leader role, I guess. And then just start kind of locking in from there, get taped up, and then go out and play.
How is your pregame routine gonna change now, where you're not necessarily the low man on the totem pole, but you're not haven't elevated to that leadership role where everyone looks up to you?
Yeah. I'm not sure completely how it's going to change as far as like what that ritual is going to look like, but I can confidently say that I'd like to be in a leadership role later on in my career. So and that starts from the second you get there. And obviously I'm going to have to work at it. I'm not going to be, like you said, I'm going to be lower on that totem pole. I'm not going to be the top dog as soon as I walk in there. I got a lot of stuff to learn. There's a lot of imperfections I got to work out, and I understand that. But I know that I'm dedicated to getting better and giving everything I have to Boise State. So it's just one of those things where hopefully, I'll be able to fill that role, but that's not really up to me to decide. I don't think leaders put themselves there. They're kind of chosen. So that's up to the team to put me there. But like I said, I think my attitude going into it is I'm just going to, coming off my mission, I'm, kind of put my head down, work, be vocal, be loud, be with the guys, kind of build that bond with them. And I mean, if I don't know, it's just one of those things. I think it'll happen if it happens. And yeah.
I'll toss one more question out there. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
We did have a comment from MST. He was regarding your brother. He says he should play too, so then we can have like the Brothers of Steel and then the Brothers of Grime on the front line.
Grimes and Steel.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. One more question for you, Dallyn. I appreciate you coming on again. You're going to come back in 2027-ish.
Yep.
You're going to be in the Pac-12, whatever we're going to be calling it at that time. Growing up in Idaho, boy, did you ever think you would see Boise State in the Pac-12?
I'll be honest. I have no idea. It was kind of a shock to me when it happened because as much as I hate to say this now, I actually grew up an Oregon fan. My dad lived in Eugene for like a good portion of his life, and that was just kind of like the family's team. That was the team my dad rooted for, so that's the team I rooted for.
I did remember that detail about you. You told me about that when you interviewed the last time, so I was like, I'll throw that out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, Oregon was in the Pac-12 for the longest time, and it was actually really crazy to see the Pac-12 kind of disband like it did. And I understand they had the media license and stuff like that, but it was still wild to see. And I think the biggest thing, it's really cool just to see that they're kind of reviving it and they're putting teams in it, and it's kind of giving teams a chance to play at a higher level. So I don't think I expected it. I don't know if you asked me that 5 years ago, I'd tell you're crazy, but I think it's an awesome opportunity for Boise State, and I'm excited.
So on that note with Oregon, the punch world heard around the world. You were obviously an Oregon fan at that point, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. What was your take whenever you saw that happen? Were you like, oh man, that's a career ender? Were you like, oh heck yeah, show them? Or were you more of a why didn't you have that fight on the field?
I didn't see that until a few years ago, but that was a gnarly situation. That was a home game, wasn't it? It was here at Boise State, and they came down and
I'm thinking you were probably pretty young with that, and that happened.
I was pretty young. I'm sure my dad remembers it, but like I said, I didn't
aged himself. Man, we're talking to 17-year-old kids here, but young men. Sorry. Young men that can probably beat me up like Dallyn here, so I better watch my P's and Q's. But that's a good call. The punch But Nick, I'll toss it over to you. Do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I mean, by 2027, if the right pieces come in, you might be on a Power 5 conference team. So, anything's possible. But for me, what I like to ask my guests is, do you have any message for Bronco Nation or some wisdom for any student athletes that are walking in your shoes? Maybe they're a junior coming into their senior year. Do you have any encouragement for Bronco Nation or anybody that's coming up the pipeline just like you did?
Yeah, I think as far as it comes to athletes kind of that are in a similar situation to me, or they're trying to get recruited, I think the biggest thing is if it's something you want, you really got to work for it. And I remember actually it wasn't too long before I even started getting college interest. I was talking with one of my coaches, not football, but wrestling. I love him to death, and we have a great relationship. But at the time, he told me, he goes, Dallyn, you got to start looking at NAIA, D2 schools, because you just it's really hard to get to the D1 level. And I mean, he's not wrong. It is really hard, but if it's something you really want, you just kind of obsess over it, and people are going to call you crazy because you're going to be out there working and you're going to be on the field a little extra. You're going to take it a lot more serious than other people, because I think especially in today's world, especially with high school athletes, there's a lot of kids that want it, but they want to be that D1 athlete. They want to get to that, big school, that those, Ohio States, those Georgias, those giant schools, but they don't want to put in that work that gets you there. So I guess my advice to those young athletes coming up is you got to be crazy about it. And you got to really, honestly, you got to love the sport, because that's what's going to give you your drive, is because that's what's going to make you passionate about it. And as far as, I guess, Bronco Nation, it's similar, same thing, is just sharing my passion for the sport, and not only my passion for the sport, but my dedication that I'm going to give to Boise State. And I can confidently say I'm going to give everything I can to this school, and, hopefully be a valuable member to the team and help the team succeed, not just myself.
Well, awesome. I appreciate you joining us tonight. Good luck on your mission, and give it everything you got with that half hour that you got every morning, and we'll see you dominate on the blue here pretty soon.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dallyn.
Yep. Bye.
Hi, I'm Ron Dorn. I'm president of Blue Elevation. A lot of you have probably heard of it in other sites like Bronco Nation Updates, and I just want to talk a little bit about Boise State football and what we're trying to do to help move the team forward. It's a lot of fun to work with them, but as you know, with the upheaval in college football and the NIL money, we're always needing more, and we're trying to do that by giving more news to you than you can get in other sources, and events that you might be able to attend. And we would just love to see your support, additional support for Boise State, so we can take this to the next level, especially moving into the Pac-12. I see such a bright future for us by doing this. For those of you that are as old as I am, you remember when we had wooden bleachers and we did rodeos in the stadium, and we had good coaches, and we were doing the best we can with what we had. These coaches need that continuated support to make it happen for us. You can see what we've done with what little we've had, but we really need the help, and we just need the commitment, and we need you to get involved with us to push the Boise State program forward. Again, especially going to the Pac-12, and especially the future is out there, and what the basketball team is doing, the women's softball team is doing, and some other sports that I follow. We just want to keep you involved and focused and helping us out any way that you can do that to support our university.
Yeah, that's such a great message. I appreciate you getting that done, Nick, and I really appreciate him taking the time to make that. He's a great guy. I just got to meet him this past weekend. Great to see him in the flesh, and I've joked. I think he's got to be my number one commenter of all my posts. So I appreciate everything he does. Nick, we'll toss it over to you, man.
Yeah. Ron's a solid guy, and he's like that with everyone. He's a you get Bronco fans in all shapes, sizes, ages, and he's, that's what we're all about, as Bronco Nation, as we're all diehard fans, and we just want to see our program do the best that it can do, and we're willing to do whatever it takes as a fan base to do that. So I guess we are in the tight end role.
Yes, sir. Yeah, let's go ahead. There's only one tight end in this group. That area is pretty stacked with depth. So we'll toss this name out here. Carter, and I know the last name kind of looks like Kuchenbuch. It's actually pronounced Kuchenbuch. I've interviewed this young man that is a family name, Kuchenbuch. I expect to hear some kind of like shoe when Shoemaker was here, maybe some boo, actual good boos this time. So I'm super excited for this young man, Carter Kuchenbuch. He's out of I'll give that high school. Actually, I'm not gonna give that high school name. He's out of Washington. and this was a small school young man. He played a lot of quarterback, tight end, defensive end, linebacker. I think he even punted for him. So, Carter Kuchenbuch has the size, has all the talent. He just needs to come in and be able to focus on one position, in my opinion. I'm excited for this young man. Sam, give me your thoughts on him.
The first thought is it's Okanogan.
Okay, there you go.
Okanogan High School, if I had to guess. The second thought is the picture's wrong, and I have no clue what happened there. So he's not from Texas, because I can't believe I did not catch that.
All right. All right.
So
it happens.
let's move on. He's 6'5", 238 pounds. He's going to be a tight end for us. Like you said, he played quarterback. He's really a utility player whenever you break it all down. He had 1,114 all-purpose yards and 25 touchdowns and 27 conversions his senior year. So he's scored a lot of points. He knows how to score points. I'm anxious to see how well he gets open and how well he's utilized in the passing game for Boise State. We know that they have a strong history of utilizing tight ends to especially in check down throws and those little seam routes and everything. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see the trick plays, because there's going to be some. Whenever you have a tight end that plays quarterback and can run, he had rushing yards, he had passing yards, he had receiving yards, he had it all. And I'm really excited to see what Coach D and everyone can draw up and get this kid open and get him rolling. He did have offers from Air Force, Army, and Washington State, some of the bigger schools there. And I'm seeing a trend here. Some of these Boise State commits, they've also been offered by Idaho. So we need to give Idaho, tell them to stop looking at our lists and trying to poach our people right off the bat.
I'm not that worried about Idaho.
I know. They may be saying the same thing about us. Hey, stop stealing our players.
Well, in one case, that is true, actually. Nick, toss it over to you. Let's talk about Carter Kuchenbuch. Hey, that rhymed.
Yeah. First, I love the last name Kuchenbuch. I'm just trying to picture it, how when he catches the ball, how the stadium's going to go. Is it going to go, boo, Kuchenbuch?
Right.
But my other take is just from learning about him over the last few months, you got to be really smart if you're going to get looked at by Air Force and Army, and you got your life together when that happens. So I'm really excited about. I think he's going to have a high IQ for the playbook and everything like that, and just knowing that he can spin the ball is just a plus.
Yeah, some of these highlights are going to be him throwing, just to tease old Sam here. But I think it says a lot when a player can play quarterback. It says that probably he's the most physically gifted player on the team, but it also means he's probably the most mentally prepared player on the team. And I know that's the case with Carter. He comes from a great family. They are super active on my Facebook, and I love seeing them. I know he just graduated, wearing a cowboy hat. He's going to fit right in Boise. Find some honky tonk. Do we still have those around here? I don't think we do. I think we're kind of too big city anymore. But he's going to do great. I'm excited to see him. He's got the frame to add weight. We've got Matt Lauder right now. We've got Matt Wagner in the wings. I think Matt Wagner, hot take, could be even more explosive than Matt Lauder, but we'll talk about that some other show. But this young man's got that next man up thing going all the way. I love Carter Kuchenbuch. Nick, do you have anything else? You want to move on to the next one?
No, I think that he's, I agree with, the depth that we have right now and with the tight ends. So, I think with Carter, with his, like you said, I think I'm really big on the mental game. I think that they're going to find a spot to put him and take advantage of his athletic and football IQ.
And Carter, if you're watching this, I promise I'm going to fix the picture and I'm going to post it on Facebook. So look for it there. I promise I'm going to fix it.
His parents are pretty cool, so I think it'll be fun. All right, let's move on to the next group. Next up, we're going to talk about a couple of running backs. The first one that we're going to talk about is the more experienced one, and talk about stealing players from quote unquote maybe rivals. Well, this young man came straight from the Lions' den or the Bulldogs' den or whatever you want to call it. Malik Sherrod, comes over from Fresno State. Yes, we'll forgive him for that. Comes in and I know I can report it, but there's also other media sources that are reporting it. Had one of the best spring camps of any of the players on the team. Really came in, showed out. I thought coming in, great, this is going to be a solid addition, maybe a number 4 running back, and he can return the ball, so that'll be great, but that's probably about it. No, this young man has a legitimate shot to be RB1, RB2 kind of player here. He is a little shorter, but is so shifty, and I'm gonna show this. This might hurt some. I lost it there. I'm gonna toss it over to Sam while I try and find this highlight real fast.
He's 5'8", 177 pounds. He's going to be shifty. Probably not as bowl you over as what Genty was, but he's going to turn some heads. People that are not ready for him, they better get ready for him. He was injured last year, so he didn't have the stats to go with his abilities, but in the games he did play, he had 196 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 8 receptions for 38 yards. So he's got the hands. He can catch it out of the backfield. He can run it. He's not going to shy away from you either. I know he can lay a hit on you. He ranks 142nd at his position as a transfer. Let's see. Yeah, 142 at his position. So I'm excited to see what he does this year. I know he had a great spring with Boise State, and like you said, our running back room's already stacked. This just adds to it. I think if the season was maybe 2 or 3 games longer, we could have the first 3,000-yard rushers with the running back room we have. Not likely. But we have that kind of room that if any room could do it, ours could.
Yeah, I totally agree. Toss it over to you, Nick.
Yeah, we already have some great young talent with Dylan Riley, Sire Gaines, and Breezy Dubar, and then you add Malik Sherrod, and then like you said, he's already been doing lights out during spring ball. He was the culprit for a couple of our videos going viral for some of those highlights from the spring game. We hit thousands of views on that. I had Boise State Report on Instagram and others like them, Sports Breakdown, asking me for that highlight, and that highlight got a lot of views. So I'm really excited to see what he can do. Not only maybe as a third down back, but what he can do on special teams. Like he crushed us a couple years ago.
And that was the video I had, and maybe thankfully to Bronco fans, it's not loading correctly. He returned that kick right for it with going into halftime against Fresno State, and it was a backbreaker. You'll have some flashbacks if it does load, so I'll save you the grief. But Malik Sherrod's definitely going to have a presence on special teams as well. This young man's going to see the field a whole lot this season. Moving on to our next running back. This is young. This one's a little younger. He's a true freshman. Greg Ard. This is a young man I've talked to out of McKinney, Texas. He is a built low to the ground kind of back. He's going to be patient. He's going to wait for that hole to form, and then he's going to hit that hole and score some touchdowns. If you haven't caught on yet, I'm more of the what I see. Sam comes in with all the stats because he's amazing at that. So I'll get my part out of the way. Then I'm going to toss it over to Sam, and we're going to do some highlights here. So, Sam, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so he's 500 pounds. Like you said, he's built low. He's a bruiser, and he's going to make some noise. He may not be day one starter with the running back room we have, but you get some bulk on him, and he's going to be running people over. He's going to be like Ashton Genty. No one's going to be able to stop him. He had 1,644 yards and 22 touchdowns his senior year. Had a kick return for a touchdown, had 14 receptions and 2 touchdowns for 172 yards. So he's going to be I'm going to say it now. He's going to be the next Ashton Genty at Boise State.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm calling it. He may not put up those same numbers, but he's going to the run style is going to remind you of Ashton Genty.
It absolutely is. I think that's a great call. And here you're going to see the special teams play. And when I was doing the research on these players, I had kind of thought, well, I'll give them a number on whether a ranking, whether I think they're going to play as a true freshman, because I know fans are curious about that. And what I put next to this young man's name is I hope not. I hope that they can just redshirt this young man. Yeah. We are so deep at running back. If he does have to play, it probably means there's injuries, because he is an extreme talent, but we have extreme talents already. I hope that whether he is able to sit, bulk up, and just get his mindset ready to step into a huge role his true redshirt freshman season. Nick, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, I really like what I saw on his highlights. Again, if I remember correctly, he's like about 15 miles from the same land as Ashton Genty, and I do see a lot of similarities. Yeah, I see a lot of similarities in the build, in the style that he runs. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's a great addition, and I agree. Hopefully, he has some time to develop, because if they are getting him out there, then there's something wrong with the stable. So, really looking forward to seeing him put in a couple plays in 2025. But like you said, hopefully it's not a huge role, because that means something went down with the other guys. So, yep. I think he's got that build, and he looks like he's got that mentality, the same mentality that Ashton Genty had.
Yep.
Hey, if you're looking for more followers, clients, or customers, check out ServingBroncoNation.com and get your business added to the directory. When you purchase a tax-deductible plan, you are investing in Boise State and getting access to millions of views throughout the year on the directory and the Bronco Nation network.
All right, moving on to our next. We're kind of breaking these down by position group, in case you haven't noticed. We're going to talk about. We're moving to the defense now, and this is a position that we're going to talk about coming up. Is a position that lost a lot. Defensive line, in particular, the interior offensive line, defensive line. Herbert Gums is gone. Sheldon Newton is gone. Those are 2 huge losses. We wish them nothing but the best, and hopefully they can find spots in the NFL. And Boise State went out and addressed those needs by some of it by maybe some true freshmen, but mostly I would say by the transfer portal. And the first name that pops up to my head is this young man. He's not all that young. He's a little bit older. David Latu comes from Brigham Young University. Our former rivals, I guess. I don't know. I talked to this young man, and last season he was set to play, got injured. and decided to sit out the rest of the season and save that red shirt so that he could enter the transfer portal. His stats aren't great. You're going to look at his stats and go, what do we get here? He was set to play before he was injured. He was going to have a major role in the BYU defense. I've watched him at practice. If you watch the spring game, I think you'd probably notice him as well. He's a big boy. He's ready to sit up there in the middle like Herbert Gums and Sheldon Newton did last season and eat up some blocks. Sam, I'll toss it over to you, buddy.
Yeah, he's like 6'4", 285. I mean, there's not much on him because, like you said, he was injured. But I'm excited. We're getting the guys, and I think our defense has a lot of transfer guys in, so we're getting the experience to bolster that defense, and that's something that Boise State desperately needs. They had a lot of people get or not drafted, but we had a lot of holes last year, especially in secondary, and you're going to see we did work in the secondary this offseason. So I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see him play, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick, give me your thoughts on Mr. Latu.
Yeah, no, I'm really intrigued with as a whole the acquisitions that we got with the defensive line. Really excited for that. Just as excited as I want the users to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're excited about this defensive line that's coming in, we saw David Latu just flying around out there during the spring game. Heard a lot of great things about him during spring camp. So yeah, I really like the group that we're talking about right now. So yeah, if you're out there and you're excited about what's going on with the defensive line, give us a like wherever you're watching and share this out. Thank you.
Absolutely. So after David, next up is going to be another transfer. And this, just like I said, this is an exact need. They went out, they saw what they needed, they realized what they needed, and they addressed that immediately. And this young man is Deion Washington. You'll see him in the Hawaii uniform there. He did play against our Broncos last year. Before that, he played for Reno. So this young man's been a couple places. Super excited for him. I watched him in practice. Whereas Latu is maybe a little more compact, Deion Washington has more what I would consider explosion. He's big. He's experienced. He's played a lot. He is a redshirt senior. This is it for him. He chose Boise State. He hitched his wagon to us, and he is here and ready to play. Sam, go ahead and talk about Deion Washington. We have a little echo here.
No better team to ride off into the sunset with than Boise State. He's 6'2", 290 pounds, 18 tackles, 2 stacks at Hawaii. So I'm excited you put him in on our defensive scheme, and the havoc that our edge rushers have a chance, or our line in general, our defensive line wreaks havoc on the quarterbacks that we play against anyway. So I'm excited to see him bolster them sack numbers, let him get in there and do some work.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick, let's toss it over to you. And just for viewers, we do have another guest coming up. We're going to talk a little bit more defensive line here, and then we're going to bring on our next guest. That's going to be Chase Hatch. But off to you, Nick. Talk about Deion Washington.
Yeah, Deion has been proven. He did very well when we went over to Hawaii last year. He performed well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this dude can do on the blue, and I think he's gonna do well.
I totally agree. There's certainly a need there, and he's going to fill that need. Moving on to our next defensive lineman, Nick. You say this young man's last name better than I do. I've butchered it in every type of way. Nick, introduce this young man to us.
Yeah, this is our international stud, Bethel Imeson.
There you go.
I really enjoyed the Blue Turf talk that you had with him for our premium subscribers.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how you say it, Bethel Imeson.
Imeson. Okay. Yeah. So this young man, like he said, is from the UK. As football grows across the world, we're going to be seeing that more. And the football in the UK is maybe a little bit more progressed than some of the other foreign countries. So he's playing some decent players. This is a young man that's very explosive. He did come over and play his senior season in the United States. I believe he was he was just visiting or moved over here. And he's an explosive young man. I'll show you his highlights here. But Sam, go ahead and talk about Bethel here. Sam, I think you're muted. Nick talk about
6'4", 285 pounds. Played in California. He's only got 1 year of football experience. He comes from England, but of American football experience, he's only got 1 year of that. And in that 1 year, he racked up 77 tackles, 20 tackle for losses, 6 sacks, forced fumble and a fumble recovery, 12 hurries, 3 pass deflects, 3 blocks. The kid's a beast. I've been saying that a lot, but I'm excited to see what he does now on our defensive line. We've really built up this offseason. I think a lot of our focus was on defense, and I think they went out and filled some holes that needed filled.
Absolutely. Nick, over to you, bud.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good project for Coach Shenander, just to get him up to speed to football here on the States. Again, like he mainly played rugby, if I believe, back in the
That's
UK.
correct.
So
yeah,
and but the upside is that he is an athlete. I think he shared on your show previously that he actually tried out punting as well. So
yeah,
for a big man, like, come on, that's pretty sick.
It is.
So yeah, I think as far as we got a lot of experience, but then we got the future too behind that.
Absolutely. There's just so much room for growth here. He has the size. He has the athleticism. Let him sit a year and go ahead and learn, get his feet wet and get in that weight room. Next up is another transfer, Keanu Mayaloto. I'm going to butcher that one as well. This young man comes from University of Arizona, the Wildcats. Chose Boise State. I believe he has 2 years of eligibility. Don't totally quote me on that one. I might be getting my names mixed up just like I did with Bethel there. But this is an exciting young man, highly recruited out of high school. I believe he had to go to the JC route for a minute. But Sam, go ahead and talk about this young man.
He's 6'5", 280 pounds. Like you said, he came the JC route at the Mount San Antonio College. Then Arizona picked him up, and then, of course, he transfers over to Boise State. He's had 7 tackles, 2 of which were solo tackles last year. Not much to go off of as far as what his stats were last year. He didn't do a ton, but we all know that can change in a heartbeat when given the right team. So I look forward to seeing what he can do, what Boise State can do with him. And like all these other guys, I wouldn't want to line up on the other side of him.
Absolutely. Nick, go ahead and what are your thoughts on this young man?
Yeah, the thing I like about Keanu is as soon as he signed, he was on campus. I saw him like literally days after he committed. So, I mean, he's all in. And what I like about this group, from what I've seen on online, is that they're very cohesive and they're really tight. So, I mean, I think that they're all going to complement and push each other. And, I think we may be surprised, even though we lost some talent on the front, on the defensive front. I think we have the right personnel to be successful in 2025.
And I absolutely agree. Our next guy we're going to preview, he's our next guest as well. Kind of like Dallyn, we're going to sit here and brag about him, let him blush a little bit, and then we'll bring it on and ask him some questions. Bronco Nation, this is your opportunity to ask this young man some questions. His name is Chase Hatch. He's from Wyoming. I love Wyoming kids. They're always built a little tougher than everyone else. My understanding is he does plan on going on a mission like Dallyn did or is planning. But this young man played a lot of wide receiver and is coming in as a linebacker. Sam, talk about how that transition looks for this young man. Sam, I think you might be muted again.
Sorry. My 2 seconds. Sorry. There it is. My previewer just decided it did not want to be on screen anymore.
That's all right.
All right. So Nick, you want to go, Nick, real quick, because I'm having technical issues. It's my screen's blank.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I think. Okay, here we go. We just totally lost Sam. They're built different here in the in the mountain states, Wyoming, Idaho, North Dakota, Montana. We do brave the winter elements. So great to have Chase join us. I believe he's going to be a linebacker, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So and we're always in need of linebackers. It's a staple for the Bronco defense, having somebody fly around there in the middle and taking on the opposing running game and also like that. Sam, are you ready?
Sam, you're still muted, buddy.
Sorry. 6'4", 180. I won't have to mute again. I fixed everything.
Oh boy.
6'4", 180 pounds. He played both sides of the ball. He had 78 tackles, 23 of which were solos. He also put 617 yards on offense, receiving with 6 touchdowns. So he can catch. So that bodes well for interceptions. So I don't expect to see drop balls come his way. Like some of those defenders, you know what they say, wide receivers who can't catch become cornerbacks. So I don't expect to see that with Chase here. I'm excited to see what he does. He's ranked 2 in the state for ESPN and 24/7, ranked 137 at his position by 24/7 and 120 by ESPN, and had a regional rank of 272 from ESPN. He's from Cody, Wyoming, and I know them Wyoming boys know how to throw it down.
That's for sure. Without further ado, Chase has been hanging out for just a second, seen some technical difficulties. We apologize for that to Chase and the viewers. Let's bring Chase on. Chase Hatch, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing pretty well here. We're working through some stuff. First off, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you taking your time. We talked to another young man who's also going on a mission. He knew where he was going. Do you know where you're heading on your mission yet?
Yes, I am headed to Dallas, Texas, South.
Barbecue.
Hey, is that your neck of the woods there, Sam?
I am in Longview, 2 hours east of Dallas.
Oh,
There you
sweet.
go. There you go. Very exciting. So another probably area where I'd say it's you can probably beef up eat some good barbecue there. I don't think you'll have any issue there. Chase, talk about the recruiting process and how that went for you. Being from Wyoming, not a state that gets a lot of recruiting attention on the main stage, but you clearly got someone's attention. How'd that recruiting process go for you, and where did that all start?
I think it all started mainly with my coach, for sure. Him kind of helping me get out there, and then with Luke Talich kind of putting Cody on the map a little bit. So then more colleges saw us a little bit, and that's how they found me. So that's where it all kind of started.
I do think it's not stated enough how much a head coach can help players get their name out and get their players recruited. So it sounds like you have a head coach that helps you with that. You commit to Boise State. What other schools were you considering at the very end there?
Washington State, Wyoming, and New Mexico.
Very cool. And coming to Boise State, they're recruiting you as a linebacker. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
And you play wide receiver, and from what I viewed, mostly safety last season. How excited are you to get in there, play closer to the line of scrimmage, maybe be a little more physical? How excited are you to do that, and how are you preparing your body for that?
Oh, I'm excited for it. Kind of how I played safety with our defense. That was kind of more like a linebacker anyways. Just had a little bit more pass responsibility, but it was a lot of just downhill running for me, so I'm ready for it. I like to hit. But yeah, I'm just preparing my body, just lifting, gaining weight, muscle for sure, muscle and strength and power, and just being ready.
Awesome. Sam, I'll toss it over to you for questions with Chase.
Did you have a choice during your recruiting process where a team says, hey, we're going to let you choose if you want to play offense or defense, or were they more pointed at, no, we want you to play here, and you just kind of had to roll with the punches, or do you rather prefer defense over offense?
Every school was just like, we want you for defense. We want you for linebacker, basically.
Yeah.
And I like defense, I think, more because I just like hitting a lot. So
right.
I like that aspect of it a lot.
Yeah, I was a wide receiver, so I played offense in college, and it wasn't until college until I found out, man, I should have went defense. I'd rather be the one giving the hits than the one taking them. So,
yeah. Sure.
But I was good at it. What through the whole process, the recruiting process, obviously you've had some highlight reels out there. What do you think was the play that a coach says, that's the guy we want? Let's go after him. What play defines your recruiting?
I think downhill, just showing downhill speed and hitting with force and just sending them backwards.
Yeah, nice. And I asked Grimes this earlier. Is there anybody that you emulate your gameplay from, or is it your own your own secret recipe, so to speak?
I kind of started with learning from Luke Talich when I played with him a little bit at safety, and then kind of when I was growing more into the linebacker kind of stage toward the end.
Yeah,
I watched a lot of Fred Warner highlights, kind of studied his technique a little bit. So yeah.
So you're going on a mission. You're going to be gone for 2 years. How is your routine, your daily routine? How's that going to change being down there? Are you going to be able to down here? I can say down here because you're coming to Texas. How's that going to change when you come down here to God's country? And what's going to be the difference? Is the heat going to play a factor in how you train? What's that going to look like when you come down here on your mission, keeping in shape and ready to roll?
I don't think the heat will play a factor. It shouldn't. It's going to be hot in different places. Like,
right.
You just got to keep working. And then I get an hour each day to work out. So a little less time maybe, but I can base it on more things. So it'll still be very beneficial and very good for me.
Is there things that you can, and forgive me because I don't know what you are and are not allowed to do on missions, but are there things that you can cut out, not so much your mission work, but say, hey, I only need 10 minutes to eat so I can go work out a little bit longer? Are there things you can do there, or is it strict once you're done with your hour, you're done with it?
No, I can wake up earlier so we can do it in the morning. So I'd wake up earlier to have a longer lift or workout or whatever.
Cool. I have a motion sensor light in case you're wondering.
Chase, we really appreciate you coming on. Do we have any questions from the fans there, Nick?
Yeah, I got a question. I'm catching some LVE vibes here, like Leighton Vander Esch.
Yes.
Who do you model your game after, Chase?
A little bit of Fred Warner. That's who I'm starting to. That's who I want to become like.
And that's a great choice, by the way. I follow the 49ers. Fred Warner's a heck of a linebacker. But I agree with Nick. The Leighton Vander Esch vibes for sure. We're looking for him for wide receiver or any other positions. Was the position change part of the decision? Chase, if you want to speak to that, were some teams looking at you at wide receiver, or was it all going to be defense? That's what this fan's asking.
It was all going to be defense, basically. There were some that were like, you can probably come play tight end even. Bulk you up to play tight end probably. But most of them were just like, we want you defense linebacker.
Do you have a long wingspan? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah. I have pretty good wingspan, yeah.
Because that's the vibe I'm getting, because Leighton Vander Esch, long wingspan, that's primarily why the Cowboys took him in the first round. And, you got a long wingspan enough to wrap those suckers up, on defense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Chase. Well, I appreciate you coming on today, buddy. It's been great to talk to you. Excited to see you here in a couple of years. Go, be safe, have a great time, learn some stuff on your mission, and come back and be a Bronco, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Elevate your hydration. Not all water is created equal. Boosted oxygen water is infused with a unique oxygen composition, delivering superior hydration that fuels your body like never before. More oxygen, more refreshment, more energy. Perfect for athletes, fitness enthusiasts, and wellness seekers. Boosted oxygen water goes beyond basic hydration. It revitalizes, restores, and recharges so you can conquer your day. Love the iconic blue turf at Boise State? Then grab the blue bottle and experience hydration on another level. Find it now at your local Walmart or online and give your body the boost it deserves. Need painting done? Beat the heat and let the pros handle it. For over 45 years, Scott at Crosby Custom Coatings has been Treasure Valley's trusted expert, delivering top quality, precision painting that stands the test of time. Residential, commercial, custom projects, we've got you covered so you don't have to break a sweat. Call Crosby Custom Coatings today at 208-939-6962 for expert service and a flawless finish. Experience, reliability, local expertise. Let's bring your vision to life. Looking for healthier alternatives? Rowdy Farms has you covered. Fresh, natural, and straight from the farm, Rowdy Farms offers quail egg and sourdough subscriptions so you can enjoy farm fresh goodness delivered right to your table. Thinking of starting your own farm side hustle? Alexis at Rowdy Farms is passionate about helping Treasure Valley residents raise quail and set up thriving gardens. Whether you're looking for expert guidance or just fresh local products, Rowdy Farms is here to help. Contact Rowdy Farms today by emailing rowdyfarmsllc@gmail.com to learn more and start your journey toward sustainable living.
The Plaza Inn owners, Jason and Selena Jungling, are huge supporters of Boise State. If you've ever watched a game, chances are you've seen them as the superfans, the Flintstones. So let's show them as much support as they've supported Boise State by making the short drive over to Ontario. Enjoy dine-in and carry-out by giving them a call at 541-889-3550 for homemade breads, pastries, and soups, or check them out on the web at plazainrestaurant.com.
Ready to get life back on track in 2025? If clutter, chaos, and unfinished tasks are holding you back, the Organize Experience is here to help. Declutter, organize, prepare. Stacey McLaughlin and her expert team master the art of transforming spaces and lives, helping you gain the freedom you deserve through efficient organization. Proud partner of Bronco Nation. As a faithful 2-year pro member of the Serving Bronco Nation directory, Stacey's passion for Boise State student athletes fuels her investment in Boise State football. Because organization isn't just about clearing space, it's about creating opportunities. Just breathe, we've got you covered. Let the Organize Experience serve you in ways that make a lasting difference. Visit theorganizeexperience.com or reach out today. Empower, inspire, transform. Founded by Miami Dolphins, Alexander Madison, the I Am Gifted Foundation is on a mission to uplift undeserved youth through mental health advocacy, mentorship, education, and cultural enrichment. Because every young person deserves to know their worth, believe in their potential, and have the tools to chase their dreams. Through workshops, school programs, community outreach, and leadership initiatives, we are breaking barriers and building brighter futures, one life at a time. Join the movement, make an impact. Learn more at iamgiftedfoundation.org to be part of the change. Ready to get things in order in 2025? Let local real estate help. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, Christine Assen, your trusted local real estate concierge, is here to guide you every step of the way. As a proud Boise State alumnus, Christine goes beyond real estate. She's investing in the future of student athletes through Beyond Blue scholarships. Now it's our turn to show local real estate the same support they've given to Bronco Nation. Expert guidance, community commitment, real estate done right. Contact Christine today by phone 208-576-9846, by email christine@localre.com, or online at localrealestate.com. Let's make 2025 the year of smart moves on and off the field. Go Broncos!
All right, we're back. Why don't we talk about the DBU at Boise State? How about that?
Yeah, let's go and get started with some defensive backs. The first one we'll start with, this is a young man that Boise State got from the transfer portal. His name is Jaden Mickey. You'll recognize that uniform he's in right there. That's Notre Dame. He comes from the Fighting Irish. This is a very experienced young man. Has played a lot of big-time football, a lot of snaps, and really has shown that he can be a very effective defensive back. I believe he was injured somewhat last season, decided to save that year of eligibility, and decided to go into the transfer portal. And those that are Bronco fans know that some new blood at the defensive backfield might not be the worst thing. And I'm excited to see Jaden. Nick, I'll toss it over to you. Let's talk about Jaden Mickey.
Yeah, super excited to get some talent from a national championship contender. He transferred so long ago that it's really easy to forget that, hey, we got a former Notre Dame DB on the team. So yeah, I'm super excited to see how he contributes to the team. Definitely need that the Power 4 caliber talent. So really excited to see what Jaden can do.
Absolutely. Sam, let's talk some Jaden Mickey.
Yeah, 6 foot, 185 pounds. He could do it. I mean, you don't get an offer to go play at Notre Dame and actually set foot on the field if you're not capable. So I'm excited to see what he does. In only 4 games, he had 3 tackles and the pass deflect. I'm more interested in if he's going to be that lockdown defensive back that we need. Someone that it doesn't matter who they line him up against, they ain't getting the ball. That's what I want to look for in our defensive backs this year. Who's going to be the next Kyle Wilson?
Absolutely, and I liked that a major part of his film was tackling. He's great in the open field, physical. We know he can go back and cover wide receivers, but there's something to be said about a cornerback that can be considered a sure tackler. So super excited to see him. Moving on to the next one is going to be Demetrius Freeney, another defensive back and another transfer from a Power 4, Power 5 school, whatever you want to call them, from the University of Arizona. This is a young man that coming out of high school was very highly recruited. I believe went to University of Miami first, then transferred to Arizona, and now is over here with us. He was here for spring. I'm 99% certain, pretty sure. Yes, he was. I do remember. He's seen some time. He can play. Sam, let's toss it over to you. I believe I have some highlights for this young man.
6 foot, 190 pounds. He's as a transfer, he ranks 184 at his position, but he did come by way of the P4. Like you said, he started with College of San Mateo, and then he transferred over to Miami, and then to Arizona, and now he's at Boise State. So he kind of took the long way around the country to get over here, but at least he's here. 7 tackles, 5 of them solos, and a fumble recovery. I'm excied to see what he does. There's not much stat-wise to say that he's great about, but again, I want to see out of this class that lockdown cornerback or defensive back. It doesn't even have to be a corner. Someone that will deny those 3rd and long balls that hurt us so much over the years.
Yeah, and I do apologize. I got that mixed up. He was highly recruited out of JC, and that's the film you're seeing here is his junior college film. And some of this, I think, the most exciting thing for some fans, and maybe you have some flashbacks when quarterbacks don't do this, but he turns around and looks at the ball. Something that Boise State fans didn't see as much of as they would have liked last season from our defensive backs. So I'm excited about this young man. Nick, tell me some thoughts on him.
Yeah, that was a struggle last year. It's like,
it was.
I'm sure that a lot of people are like, turn around, man. Yeah. All right. This is another one where he transferred early. So, it was kind of, if you have a short-term memory, you don't remember. But if I remember correctly, I think he's actually related to Dwight Freeney, the ex-football All-Pro.
No, that's not something I've been able to confirm. Sorry to cut you off there. But I've never been able to confirm that. I've heard that as well, but until I hear it from his mouth, I don't know. Maybe.
I thought I saw something on X where one of a family member either elaborated to it, but anyway.
Okay.
Love the JC film, especially that pick six. That if he can do that on the blue, man, like, and he has that, turn around, look for the ball, man, come on.
Yeah, and that film I thought showed that he has a real good feel for the field, and that's something that a lot of some players don't quite have is where that feel where they are on the field. Dimitri's, he has a good feel of his location and where he needs to be, and I thought he did a great job showing that off. Next up, we'll move on to another defensive back. This is a true freshman. He was here for the spring as well. Dominic Calhoun. Out of Pittsburgh, California. He's coming in as a safety. I wasn't sure he was going to be coming in as a safety or a corner. This is a really talented young man, but honestly, one of the young men that I've spoken to that I walked away most impressed with. I could see this young man someday being a politician. He's just got that gift of gab, and I love talking to him. But also a very talented football player, obviously. Played really well, hits really hard, but also he shows some stuff, some talent in coverage as well. Sam, let's talk about Dominic Calhoun.
At 5'11", 181 pounds, size being a deception here. He's got 76 tackles, 47 of which were solo, which is good. That means he, especially at that safety role, he can make those open field tackles like we just saw there. He's got 5 tackles for loss, a sack, 5 pass deflections, interceptions, hurries, forced fumbles. Kid can do it all. He had other offers from San Jose State and Washington State, Arizona State, and Northern Arizona. I'm glad he chose Boise State. I think he's going to be something special.
I absolutely agree. Nick, over to you, bud.
Yeah, I really like Dom. As soon as he committed, he came early. He's been doing the work. Well, he's grounded. He's led by faith. Has great family. I expect him to contribute this in 2025. I can't say enough about this young man. He's a well-rounded, very smart, and spiritually led.
And I do think, we ended that highlight there with him making a special teams play. I think that's, you mentioned you think he'll contribute right away. I could definitely see him carving out a spot on special teams coverage-wise or on a return team. Not necessarily returning the ball, but you have to have people that block. And this kid shows the ability to stick his nose in there and make some big hits. So super excited about him. Going on to our next defensive back. This is a young man that's, I believe, from the Netherlands. Another international young man. I guess he's from London. I believe he's originally from the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken. Arthur de Bache. I probably am overthinking that one as well. Just another international flavor. He's already in camp as well, was here for the spring, and did see a fair amount of playing time as well. Nick, talk about this young man.
We've had really good success with the international players. I would think that this is not an exception. I do remember seeing him putting a lot of time in during the spring game. I'm really pleased with the list that we're looking at the DBs and all the talent that we have. I think it's wide open for people to put in the work, which it seems like he's doing, and many of the other ones are, and see how that plays out after fall camp.
You said it earlier, Chris, iron sharpens iron, and I think that this coaching staff is putting a pretty dang good group of iron together. And I know if you listen to anything I said last year, they'd be in the group or whatever. I'm very critical of our defensive backs because it seems like every year the defensive backs are our weak spot. And towards the end of the year, I softened my stance on them because they are out there on an island. That's why I want to see that island lockdown defensive back. Arthur, he did play both sides of the ball at the NFL Academy in London, so he's got that NFL mentality coming from the NFL Academy. So I really hope that translates well over on the blue, and I think he could be the next gem to come from overseas, like Hassanin.
Yeah, that seemed to work out pretty well for Ahmad Hassanin, who is obviously now a Detroit Lion, and we wish him nothing but the best. And this is we got more defensive backs, and I hope you guys aren't tired of hearing it, but there's a reason that there's so many in this class, and that's because it's necessary. This defensive backfield, one, lost a lot of players. 3 safeties that you could consider all starters, and 2, maybe their play wasn't quite up to what we were hoping for. So I hand it to this coaching staff. They went out, they got some new blood, and are trying to build the group that they feel puts them in the best position. And this young man is one that I personally think is going to have an immediate impact. His name's Steuart Smith. He's a corner coming in out of the College of San Mateo. I really love this young man's film, kind of similar to Freeney. Has just a good feel for where he is on the field. And I just really like a lot of his film is which I'm going to show you, is going to be one-on-one. And I think that's something that this team desperately needs. Sam, go ahead and talk about Steuart Smith.
At 6'1", 185 pounds, he was the all-day 6 conference first team last year. 34 tackles, 24 of which is solo. Again, as a defensive back, that equates to being able to open field tackle, as well as obviously pulling down a receiver after he catches the ball. He had 4 interceptions as well, but as you're seeing here, the kid can hit, the kid can move, he can cover. I know I've said it before, but I'm excited about this class of defensive backs, and I hope this is the year that we can finally say the defensive backs are not the weakness of Boise State.
Yeah, and I do think that it should be noted that and maybe you guys will agree or disagree, and viewers, please let us know what you think. I felt like this last season there was a big shift in the overall philosophy of this defense, especially with more blitzing. And, when you change philosophy, sometimes that doesn't always work out great that first season because you weren't recruiting for that. That's not your strength. So I think that a big part of like I said before, is bringing in all these defensive backs is to get that right skill set that they are hoping for. I think we are going to see a lot of blitzing, maybe not more because they blitzed so darn much last season. It'd be hard to think more, but you're going to see plenty of blitzing, and I think they are starting to get the bodies that they need and the skill sets that they like. Nick, do you have any more thoughts on Sherrod?
Yeah, I like his vision on the field again. Yeah, watching the ball, and then if you're right, if there is a plethora of blitzing, then he can play outfield like I just saw one of those clips. Getting to the high point of the ball and picking it.
And I do think it's also interesting that some of these guys played safety, in this case at junior college, and are going to come in as a corner, and vice versa. Some of these guys played corner and are coming in as a safety, and that's going to be the case of our next young man, Jabri Bickham. This is maybe the highest rated recruit in this class. This young man is just a physical freak, has Olympic level speed, was a very highly rated wide receiver. Some people's, I would love to talk to him. I would bet he was being recruited as a wide receiver, probably more than actually a defensive back. But Boise State is certainly bringing him in as a defensive back. Whether that's going to be at safety or at corner, I'm not sure. But this is an extremely talented young man out of Texas. Your neck of the woods, Sam. Talk about your neighbor over there.
Yes, sir. He's 6'3", 179 pounds, 24 tackles, 14 of which are solo, 5 interceptions, 3 pass deflects, and had an interception for a touchdown. Turned down offers from Louisville, Arkansas State, Michigan State, and what some may presume as future Pac-12 foe Texas State. Whether or not that gets confirmed is yet to be seen. But I was almost disappointed that he was going as a defensive back, because I wanted to see if he was going to be that breakout wide receiver, that deep threat that Boise State was missing last year. But I don't know, maybe he can talk the coaches in the senior year saying, hey, let me be the next Travis Hunter. Well, I guess we'll see. But he definitely talented enough to do that. Whether or not they let him, that remains to be seen. But I like the kid, not just because he's from Texas.
Nick, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, no, I really like Jabri as well. He's well-rounded, spiritually led, just like Dom. So those kind of players I really like, because they have a great emotional intelligence, and that's what really it takes, to play ball, is keeping a level head, having the playbook IQ is +2, but everything that I've seen on Jabri, I read your interview with him on Blue Turf Talk with Chris V for the premium subscribers. Excellent read. So I'm excited to see what Jabri is going to do, and I do believe he's going to have a lot of action in 2025. And I think that he's got the athleticism to mix in on both sides too.
Yeah, and I agree. And speaking of that, we read a little bit about Ty Benefield possibly playing a little wide receiver. He did play a little wide receiver in some of the practices. I don't think he played a wide receiver in the spring game. Maybe someone correct me on that. I didn't see it. But boy, that would be pretty cool to see a two-way player. Next up is a guy that I skipped him because I wanted to make Sam a little nervous, because I know Sam loves this kid. It's probably his favorite, and he's also from Texas. I'm pretty sure that's a big reason why. But I'm not even going to talk. I'm just going to let Sam talk about this kid, because I think he has a man crush on him. Jalen Webb, let's go.
Yeah, he's from Kilgore College, which is literally minutes from my home. Actually, whenever I do my work down in South Texas, I drive by the stadium just about every other week or so. He's Jalen Webb, 6'2", 195 pounds. He's the ESPN JUCO 50. He's ranked 48th on that list. He had 44 tackles, 35 of which were solo. The dude's a beast. Forced fumble, 5 interceptions. He was the National Junior College Athletic Association's first team All-American, the SWJ CFC Defensive Player of the Year, first team All SWJ CFC, which is the conference they play in. I'm excited to have him on board. I wish I would have known prior to him. Obviously, I wasn't privy to all the recruiting news back in the day, but back whenever he was being recruited, I wish I would have known it so I could get out and watch him play and see in person what Boise State was getting, but or what Boise State was trying to get, I should say, at that time. But I'm excited. They've got a gem. Kilgore College is one of the nation's top junior colleges out there. They're always ranked in the top 25. There's good talent there, and I really hope this opens a pipeline up for Boise State, because I'd love to see more of them make their way up the ladder.
Yeah, and this is a young man that I watched in spring practice, and during spring practice, Zion Washington, who is kind of assumed to be the nickelback, boundary safety, whatever you want to call it. Was sad a little bit. I wouldn't say he was injured, but Jalen Webb was getting a lot of time and was impressing. He showed great coverage skills, a good grasp on a playbook that he had just received within the last couple of weeks. At the time, I'm very excited to see this young man grow. He's got the size, he's got the speed. Nick, I'm going to toss it over to you, and I'm going to step away for just a moment. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I remember when, I remember how excited you were, Sam, when we found out that Jalen was committed to Boise State. If I remember correctly, we did do kind of a preview on that in one of our Bronco Nation lives. Very excited. There's so much moving parts that is, a lot of these like, wow, it's like it refreshes my memory, and I remember that. Very, very encouraged with the talent that Jalen has. If I remember correctly, my comparison was what we were getting when Dalla came to Marion McCoy came to Boise State. He had that dominant presence in junior college, and that worked out well. The transition from where he came from to Boise State was very successful. And so I think that same thing with Jalen Webb, but like I'm like looking at this list and there's so much talent, and so it's going to be these guys are going to be pushing each other, man. I swear, man.
Yeah, this list or this defensive back class. You've got Jaden Mickey, Jalen Webb, you've got Sherrod Smith, you've got Dominic Calhoun. Demetrius Freeney. These aren't people that you just go pick up off the street. They're talented people, and they're like I said earlier. This is probably the biggest group of iron sharpening iron, and they could be the group that keeps Boise State or keeps the fans from saying, "Oh, there goes our secondary again doing Swiss cheese things." And it's most frustrating, obviously, on third down whenever you need to stop and they give up the first down. So I really think this group can help if they're not directly on the field. Their help in pushing each other is what's going to be the difference, because they know, hey, there's a guy right behind me who's just as good that's going to take my spot if I don't perform. And I think they did a good job of this group of getting that.
Yeah. And I think with with this package that we have, they'll be able to sort these out so we don't see a lot of those busted plays and big yardage meltdowns. So a lot of
Jalen's
stuff to play with. Yeah.
Yeah, Jalen's no slouch either. 6'2", he's got the height, he's got the speed. He was number 2 and number 4 on 24/7 and ESPN respectively at his position. And that's as a transfer, not as a recruit. So that's after he's played. So he's up there, and being ranked on the JUCO 50 for ESPN, that says a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. I'm ready for fall to be here. Dang it.
Absolutely, and I'm back. Let's go on to our next one. We have not covered Taj Crutchfield, have we?
No, we have not.
All right. I like this young man a lot. Taj Crutchfield, another young man that I have interviewed for a previous media outlet. He's a great kid, great family. A true cornerback. There's no safety cornerback, and he's going to be a corner, and he's going to be a lockdown corner. Has a really impressive offer list. Arizona State, BYU, Louisville, Utah. This young man chose Boise State over some great opportunities. I'm excited for him to come in. And I honestly think that he could play as a true freshman. There's a lot of lot of bodies in the cornerback room, but that's one position where talent just shows through. And I think that he has that talent to play as a true freshman. Sam, go ahead and talk about Taj Crutchfield.
5'11", 177, 37 tackles, 30 of which were solo, a tackle for loss, interception, pass to flex. Again, this kid's another Swiss Army knife with the forced fumbles, the recoveries, the touchdowns. Had offers from Arizona State, BYU, basically the whole western part of the United States wants the kid. And we got him, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Over to you, Nick.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how he plays out. From what I've seen, he's got a good pop on defense. If you see that, he's good at penetrating. He's got a good lineage when it comes to athletics. Just looking forward to seeing what Taj can bring to the Blue.
Absolutely, and you look at these highlights here, and I just like what I see from him. Here's a play where he does the good old turn and look, and that's got to be heartwarming for fans. We'll see what happens. Maybe he'll redshirt, but don't be surprised if you see Taj Crutchfield on the Blue. The last defensive back we'll cover is going to be another junior college transfer, Samuel Brooks. I went straight to the video. I'll throw his card up here in a minute.
Hey.
I like that when I see on a highlight video special teams plays, especially stuff like that where he's getting a block, and I think that's him taking it back. I don't really care. All that matters is somebody's taking it back. Because that's where they're going to make their hay. He was here for spring. I guarantee you that was a huge ask of the coaches is to get in there and make some plays on special teams. Nick, give me some thoughts on Samuel Brooks.
I like what I'm seeing here. I like that pop. That's what you want to see on defense. We want to see 11 guys with that same intensity. Good stuff right there, man.
Yeah. Toss it over to you, Sam. Talk about Sam.
Yep. Our Sam on Sam crime here. 6'1", 180 pounds. He another JUCO 50 player, ranks in at number 35 on that list. That's two defensive backs on the JUCO 50 that we picked up. Great pickup for Boise State. 89 tackles, 6.5 tackle for loss. Has a kick return and a punt return for or can return. They didn't return for touchdowns, but he can return if needed. Has a block, forced fumble, 6 pass to flex. Kid can do it all. Had Arkansas State and Louisiana Tech, Texas State, some of the more middle of the pack teams offered him. So I'm glad we came in and was able to scoop him up.
Absolutely. We'll see what Sam does on the field this season.
Yep.
Listen up, Boise State fans. This one's for you. Welcome to Blue Turf Talk with Chris V, your exclusive and premium source for in-depth analysis, insider stories, and passionate discussions about Boise State football. Join Chris V as he breaks down the biggest plays, hottest topics, and everything happening on that iconic blue turf. But it's more than just football. It's about making a difference. We proudly support Blue Elevation, a nonprofit dedicated to uplifting our community and empowering lives through sports and education. Subscribe today for the low cost of $5.99 a month and be part of something bigger. Blue Turf Talk with Chris V, where Boise State pride meets real impact.
All right. The next group we're going to go ahead and talk about here is a group that's causing some heartburn for Boise State fans, just because Boise State lost Austin Bolt, which is a major loss, and we wish nothing but the best for Austin in his life endeavors. But the wide receiver group and wide receiver was addressed Now, these are all going to be true freshmen. They did have one junior college guy. We're not going to preview him tonight, but it should be noted that it's hard for a high school player to come on and play as a true freshman. But the wide receiver group offers a unique opportunity simply because you can kind of use them in very specific routes and whatnot. The first young man we're going to go and preview is Quentin Brown. Looks a lot like Carter Kuchenbuch there, Sam. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry, Sam.
I think Quentin Brown is the one that I copy and pasted to start hitting.
That's all right. Quentin Brown, this young man has legitimate Olympic level speed. Has set several state records in the 100 meter, I believe, and is just a really smooth athlete. And that's something that I don't know what that means, but I sure know what it looks like, and I can see it when I watch Quentin's highlights here. So, Nick, go ahead and talk about Quentin Brown.
Yeah, from the moment Q committed, super excited. I think he's gonna get some play time for sure in 2025, because we're gonna need it. Like there is a lot of questions in the wide receiver room, and the plot thickens every day. You turn around and something else is happening. So looking excited. I'm excited to see his speed. And maybe in a slot, those slot situations, or even what he can. Maybe they do give him a shot on special teams. But very excited for him. I was almost worried that wasn't gonna, there was so much time between him giving that commitment to actually getting on campus, which he is now. Which thank you, Lord. Because you never know with a talent like that if it's gonna come to fruition. But Q's on board, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam, go ahead, buddy.
5'8", 163 pounds. Speed is the key here. He may not get those 50-50 balls as much, but he can outrun the coverage. So I'm excited for that. He had 716 yards and 9 touchdowns. And Nick wanting the special teams play, he did have 566 return yards and a touchdown. Had offers from Army, Colorado State, Ohio, not Ohio State, but I like to get people thinking that. Oregon State, Pittsburgh, Texas State, and some of the more middle tier teams. But I'm another one that I'm glad we picked up. Liberty Christian, that's right down the road as well. So from where I live, so I'm happy to see these Texas boys getting up there. So and I know Boise State's had no problem recruiting in Texas over the years, but I'm glad to see them get up there now that I'm actually paying attention to that side of everything.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited to see Quentin, and we go from Quentin to maybe not quite the opposite, but a guy who's got a different skill set. Quamonte Williams, another wide receiver. This young man is 6'5". So Quentin's 5'8". We got 6'5". We're covering all the bases here. Mm-hmm. Quamonte Williams, you look at him and you see just a jump ball waiting to happen. Those 50-50 balls with this young man should be more like 80-20. He's extremely talented. I believe he's I got to toss it back up here, but I believe he's from Texas as well. Fort Worth. There we go.
Right down the road as well.
Right down the road. Sam, give me some thoughts on this young man.
Yeah, another Texas boy, another right down the road from where I live. Couple hours anyway. 6'5", 197 pounds. I cannot wait for Maddox to be able to just throw that ball up and let him go get it. Back of the end zone, toe tap, touchdown, national champions. Calling it, you heard it here first. He had 1,141 yards receiving and 21 touchdowns last year with offers from Air Force, Miami, Ohio, Navy, and UNLV. So Boise State having him, that's good news for us. I really love the size.
Yeah, and I think that I'm really happy when I see more size. It's something that we need. We did just get who's not on the list, but we did get a 6'7" wide receiver in Kobe Young. But 6'5", love the size. Interested to see how that plays out.
Absolutely. And sorry, I had to step aside and add a little light here. It got darker quicker than I thought. Sorry, fellas. I mean, I should try to hide this thing, but it is what it is. Next up, Gavin Packer. This is from Vancouver, Washington. This is just an overall weapon. Played a little quarterback, played a little free safety, and is just a very polished wide receiver. This is of all the players, of all the wide receivers that we're going to preview today, this is the guy that I just kind of have that gut feeling it could make an impact this season. I love what I see with him. He's one of those guys you just want to get the ball. Whenever he has the ball in his hands, good things happen. And I'm excited to see what happens. Sam, over to you with Gavin Packer.
At 5'10", 172, this guy reminds me of a little guy, Khalil Shakir. Maybe you've heard of him. With 876 yards, 13 touchdowns, 1,424 all-purpose yards, 3 rushing TDs. This guy, I see him being able to line up in the slot, do the sweep motions, and be able to run like Shakir did. Just get him in the open field and let him go. I'm really excited to see how he gets utilized at Boise State. He turned down offers from Air Force, Washington, Nevada, to name a few. I'm excited to see what he does.
Absolutely. Over to you, Nick.
Yeah, I like the size a little bit bigger than it's about 5'11". I see him more as a wide position, maybe on the inside of the wideout. So looking forward to seeing how. Again, I think we're going to see a lot of moving parts until we see what the final product is on the season opener in Florida.
Yep. Yeah, it's good. Your guess is as good as mine as who lines up as the starting wide receivers, outside a couple of obvious ones. But it'll be very interesting to see. Next young man that's coming up is Cameron Jones. He was a little bit of a late addition. You're going to look at his offer list and think, well, did they forget a state here or maybe add a state? No, those are legit. Georgia, Michigan, Nebraska, Tennessee, not Tennessee State. It's Tennessee. This kid's extremely talented. Had some injury issues his senior season. And I want this young man to come in to Boise State with a clean slate. I'm excited for him to just have the opportunity to come in and create his own destiny. I'm really excited about this young man. Nick, Sam has disappeared because you didn't move enough. Sam, come on, buddy. I move all the time. I can't stop. I had to stand up. Nick, go and talk to us about Cameron Jones.
Yeah, outside of Q Brown, there's 2 other freshmen coming in that I'm really high on, and Cam Jones is one of them. Love his style, love the force that he has out there. Reminds me of a Des Bryant almost. He's got that size, and just can impose his will while he's out there, make those good catches. Looks like he's got some big hands. I'm really, really up on him, and I'm glad that we got him. I think that here in Boise is going to be a great place for him.
I agree. Same over to you, buddy.
Yeah, he only played 4 games because, as you alluded to, he had some injury issues. But even then, I mean, 56 receptions in 4 games, 899 yards and 10 touchdowns in 4 games. If this kid was healthy, we wouldn't be talking about why isn't he at Boise State. We'd be saying, well, that kid belongs at Georgia or Alabama or somewhere else. So there's a reason we didn't have him. So I'm almost thankful that he got injured and only played in the 4 games, because he was on pace to put up eye-popping numbers that would have brought those bigger schools say, nope, this is our guy. This is where we want him, and they would have offered him the money to go. Just my opinion. But I do have to point out, Chris, that you were wrong whenever you said that there's no states here, because there is one in the Ohio State. So that's good that we're taking those P4 talent, plugging it in at Boise State. Even if we only have them for a year, let's run it up and do something great with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. If he doesn't get injured, which I'll never hope for injury. Go ahead.
I do have to say something I forgot. 224.8 yards per game from a wide receiver. That's I'm ready for that at Boise State.
Yeah. I would think so. Yeah, super excited about this young man. The next young man we're going to move on to, we're going to go with A.J. Jones. This young man's story is interesting as well. His senior season, he came in and had high expectations, was injured. I believe his first or second game, really early on the season. This young man that I've talked to quite a bit. Great young man, very well spoken. We were talking about having him on the show. Fortunately, that did not work out. He is on campus, so therefore he's untouchable, and we always want to follow Boise State's rules. Nothing but respect for them and them trying to shield their athletes and allow them to focus on schoolwork. But A.J. Jones is a very talented young man. Originally was going to gray shirt. A.J. told me that a couple weeks ago, Spencer Danielson gave him a call and said, hey, we're ready for you. We have a spot for you this season. No need to gray shirt as long as you're healthy, which he is. He's going to come in and be a playmaker. Sam, go ahead and talk about A.J. Jones.
Yep. 6'1", 183. He can be that playmaker. In just 2 games, he had 8 receptions, 111 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And the kid's smart. You don't get offers from Pennsylvania and Yale without being smart. So I'm excited to see if that smarts translates to football IQ and how well he's able to get open and read the defenses and work his way open and become that target that Maddox needs this season. I'm excited to hear that he's not going to gray shirt, and I look forward to see what he does.
Absolutely. Over to you, Nick. And then we do have one other opinion on A.J. Jones. It's from a very interesting aspect of a 2026 recruit, but we'll make you hold on for that one. Nick, talk about A.J. Jones.
Yeah, this is another receiver that I'm really high up on, just from his film and since he committed, just kind of reviewing just his IQ and all that. Hard worker. Shout out to his pops. His pops is very big supporter of Bronco Nation updates and on all of our social accounts. So, what's up, AJ? But yeah, I'm really high up on Mr. Jones here. I think that he will be able to get on the field and help out this receiving corps.
Yeah, and a lot of his highlights there were on special teams. This is a very explosive returner as well. I did just have an interview yesterday with the 2026 quarterback commit, Bryson Beaver. Both these athletes, A.J. Jones and Bryson Beaver, play for Vista Marietta High School in California, where Khalil Shakir came from. And I asked Beaver what his opinion on A.J. Jones was, and I'll have you guys take a listen. Another young man, A.J. Jones. This is a guy you played with. Talk to me about A.J. Jones. He's a wide receiver coming into the 2025 class from your high school. Give me a quick scouting report on A.J.
I mean, obviously, you're getting a stud athlete, a great receiver, but I'd say you're also getting one of the hardest workers I know, and he's a great kid, great competitor. So the Bronco Nation should be excited for AJ. He's a great guy, great kid.
That's good to hear. I think Bronco Nation's a little nervous about their wide receivers right now, so that is we can take heart in that. Yeah. So, and I do also want to preview that interview that I had with Bryson. We're going to talk about that maybe a little bit later on. We're moving through this stuff. We've got a couple defensive players, and we're going to even talk a little couple kickers as well. But yeah, I mean, AJ Jones is exciting to see. I was excited to hear that he's coming in and not gray shirting. So let's go ahead and welcome this young man in. And Nick, I'll toss it over to you for the ads.
Blue Elevation, more than a fundraiser, it's a movement for all Boise State sports. We're not just supporting basketball and football. Your contributions, NIL, donations, year-end gifts, in-kind support, and subscriptions fuel every program. You decide where your gift goes, ensuring direct impact on the sport you're passionate about. Right now, we're rallying behind Boise State softball, one of the university's top-ranked athletic departments. We're equipping Coach Schultz with everything needed to dominate the conference, win the College World Series, and bring home a championship. But we're thinking bigger. Blue turf, a retractable roof, a dream softball stadium. Imagine February games played in the heart of Bronco Nation, no matter the weather. Want to be part of the legacy? Go to blueelevation.org, become a member, and give any amount. Just type softball in the comment line at checkout to direct your gift. Together, we build champions. Go Broncos.
All right. And next up, we're going to move on to the defensive end / edge rusher position. We're going to start out with a young man named Markel Bowens. This was one of the later additions to this class. He's from Highland High School in Pocatello, one of the probably the most successful high school college football or high school football in the state, which hurts me as an Eagle High alum, but it's probably the truth. Markel is a super athletic young man. I was excited to see that, you don't, a lot of times when you're adding players at the end, you're like, okay, well, they do one thing really well, and you kind of build off that. Markel, he's a great athlete. And this young man is going to come in, and I hope he redshirts just so he can add some weight. Sam, go and talk about Markel Bowens real fast.
I was going to say just that 6'5", 225 pounds. I do think that the redshirt route is the best way to go, but he can play even without the weight. 34 tackles, 14 solos, 7 of them for loss, 4.5 sacks, forced fumble and recovery, and he can put his hands up, bat down some passes as well. Not highly recruited, only had offers from Minot State and Utah Tech or Minot or however you say that. But I'm glad that Boise State gave him the offer. I really do think that he's going to be something special on the edge, given the time to develop a little better. Weight-wise, not his skills, but weight. Give him time to bulk up, is I guess what I should say. Yeah.
Nick, talk a little Markel Bowens for me.
Yeah, I'm getting Michael Madre comparisons here.
Okay.
Really slender, growing into those feet. He looks like he looks like he like he can develop, put on some weight, and really. But I do like his fundamentals just from those videos. And Highland is, they do produce some really good talent from Highland. So, I think sky's the limit for him.
Yep. Moving on to the next young man. This is going to be a transfer in. Sterling Lane. This was a 4-star prospect coming out of high school, out of the University of Arizona. We really like those Wildcats. This young man, the film, I couldn't find any real current film on him, so I'm not going to show any, but you'll take my word for it. This is a really explosive athlete who's going to come in, and you have Jaden Virgin Morgan at edge, and that's great. You're super excited. And at that defensive end, maybe you got Max Steege, and that's great too. But boy, it would be really cool to have the opportunity to just load up on pass rushers. 3rd and 8. Let's get Jaden Virgin Morgan and Sterling in there. pass rushes is a commodity that you never have enough of. And Sam, let's talk about Steuart Lane.
6'3", 232 pounds. Obviously, he's got the talent to be a P4 or wouldn't have been on a P4 team. 26 tackles, 10 of which were solos with a fumble recovery for a touchdown. I'm excited to see that explosiveness on the blue and not in red and white. So
right,
I'm ready for him. Filling that at the ends, like you said, put them on each end and make the defenses decide which one to block. Because I think this is probably going to be one of the best defensive classes Boise State's ever put together.
Yeah, I agree. Nick, let's talk some Steuart Lane.
Yeah, I believe me and you spoke about him on one of your Blue Turf Talk, one of your free episodes.
Absolutely.
And Steuart Lane is unlike any of the other transfers that we've got on defense because he has a resume. He has 26 tackles. He has a scoop and score for a Power 4 conference team. So really, really excited to see what he can do on the blue. I think this is an added bonus, and this is going. If we are going to take the defense to the next level, we need talent like this that has that Power 4 experience and actually, has quite a bit of statistics to go off.
Yeah, absolutely. Steuart Lane's going to come in and he's going to make an impact right away. So you have to mix in some of those freshmen that are going to sit and hit those weights real hard, and some other guys are just going to come in and play right away. And Boise State does a really good job of that. So next up's going to be one of those younger guys. I don't know. Maybe this kid could play right away. Jaden Williams was at one point a San Diego State commit. You love it when you can steal from another Pac-12 team. That sounds weird. But Jaden Williams had some crazy stats his senior season. I think Sam's going to touch on that, I'm sure. But this is an explosive player. I think they bring him in as a defensive end. They listen him to edge, bulk him up, and have a really good pass rushing defensive end. But hey, what do I know? Sam, let's talk some Jaden Williams.
Yeah, he's 6'3", 254 pounds. Like you said, I think he could put on another 20 pounds and really be a force to reckon with. But like you said, he's got some stats behind him still. 105 tackles. That's no slouch. 44.5 tackles for losses. 23 sacks.
23 sacks. Let me just repeat that.
23 sacks. An interception, a forced fumble, 39 hurries, 5 pass deflects. So if he can't get to the quarterback, he's going to put his paws up there. I'm really, really excited about this kid, and I hope he can duplicate or build on those stats on the blue.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm expecting 23 sacks from him, but that'd be cool. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, I'm not expecting 23. I'm in that more 27 to 30 range.
Oh, I like it. That's thinking. I like it. Nick, what do you think? Over 30? No, I'm just kidding. What's up?
No, I absolutely love his high school career. To be honest, though, this is kind of a crowded room, and like to see him get some playing time, but I think most of the playing time is going to go with the more experienced players, especially on the defense. But you never know. Things could happen, and that's when you have to step up. So I'm glad that he's in the depth chart and knows how to put some hurt on the quarterback.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some of these on the defensive back and the edge. Once it's clear where we're at and who we have and what we need, I'd like to see some of them that obviously didn't transfer in play their 4 games, redshirt, and then come back just ready to lay a lick.
Yes, and Boise State has done that with some players in the last couple of years. I've been glad that they've taken advantage of that 4-game rule. So that's a good call, Sam. I do hope some of these young men can. You just have enough blowout games, and that won't be a problem. I mean, just blow out Notre Dame, which I believe you're going to, Sam. Is that correct?
Yeah, speaking of Notre Dame, yeah, I might find my way out there.
Just mosey on that way, huh? Attaboy.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
Do you know who I am?
Next up is Bowl. I love that name. I can't butcher that one, I don't think. This young man of Yelm High School. It's where Jacob Tracy came from. Sorry, I forgot the first name there. This is a guy that was kind of under the radar in the recruiting realm that Nick is very sweet and calls me a recruiting expert. I'm just dipping my little toe in there. And Bull was a name that was like, this guy's rising. This guy's rising real fast. And I honestly didn't think we were going to hold on to him. And he came in early. And Spencer Danielson even spoke about him in a press conference, which, as for a true freshman, is impressive. So, Bull, let's talk about Mr. Bull there, Nick.
Yeah, I think Bull, I've heard nothing but praises about it. I've heard it from you, heard it from, the coaching staff, the media, just the size of him. I think of all the freshmen coming in, I think he's got the best opportunity to actually be on the field. Probably just as much time as Max Steege has had when he came in and kind of develop up like that. I think out of all the freshmen, Bull will probably have the most playing time in this group.
There's your hot take for the night, y'all. Sam? Bull.
Yeah, 6'4", 223 pounds. I'd like to see him bulk up a little and still keep that speed off the edge. But that's just a personal preference. 23 tackles, 5 sacks, and a fumble recovery. You can't argue with stats like that. He had another offer from California, so I'm glad he chose Boise State over the P4 conference. Yeah. Probably all that travel in California now has to do as part of the Big Ten. No, ACC. It's part of the ACC. He probably doesn't want to go coast to coast every week.
What do you mean? Berkeley to Rutgers isn't just a hop and a skip and a jump down the road? Come on. All makes geographical sense, right?
I think his closest out-of-state away game is probably SMU.
SMU,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, which is crazy. That's crazy.
In Dallas. So, yeah.
All right, viewers, we've got 2 more, and they are kickers, which I don't know if you all realize, but Jonah Dalmas is no longer with us. It seems like that's the wrong way to put it. He's no longer with the team. He didn't die. I'm tired, guys. Jonah Dalmas moves on. Hopefully, he gets an NFL gig. And we've got a big hole at kicker now. And both of these guys are very different in their experience and maybe in their development as a kicker, but either could win this job. The first one I'm gonna toss out there is as a young man named Colton Boomer. You might recognize him or the name from when he was playing for University of Central Florida on the blue. He did kick the game-winning field goal against the Broncos. But we forgive him. He's coming in. I believe he has 2 years of experience left. He was not here for spring camp. Will be here for fall camp. Luckily, kicker is one of those positions where you just show up and kick. So talk to me about Colton Boomer, Sam.
Yeah, I opted not to use that photo on here. I went with the green field and not the blue field. He was 3 for 6, has a long of 50 yards and 19 of 20 on extra points. He scored a total of 28 points last year for UCF. I think he's a good pickup to replace Jonah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. He had a great freshman season. Dropped down a little bit his sophomore year. Last season, I believe he was injured and decided to take that redshirt season and have 2 years eligibility. You start out hot and then maybe you kind of struggle there. A change of scenery. I'm obviously a big baseball fan. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just get a change of scenery, get your head right. And I think that's very true with kickers as well. Nick, talk about Mr. Boomer.
Yeah, to talk about Colton, first I got to just say how blessed we were with Jonah Dalmas. He did kind of have, towards the end of this year, just a little dip. But if you think about all of his career, like how much of a blessing it was to know that we were going to get the field goals that we needed, the extra points that we needed. He broke school records. I think that Colton, if he shows us what he can do when he beat us on the blue back a couple years ago, I think that we'll be all right. But right now it's like I find myself in that spot where we were in those lean years where we weren't sure how automatic it was. So I'm hoping that the accuracy will be there, and so I'm just rooting for Colton big time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll say this: he's already proven he can make a kick on the blue. So
it's a good start, no doubt about that. I did miss a couple little linebackers here, so we're going to talk about them real fast. Mana Tuiatoe. I'm gonna throw that out there. Let me see if it sticks.
Tuiatoe.
Yeah, Tuiatoe. There we go. This is a young man. He played a lot of running back in high school. In fact, most of his, a lot of his highlights are at running back. Boise State's bringing him as a linebacker, and he's a little bit on the shorter side. I believe 5'11", 5'10" is what he's listed at. But this young man hits like a ton of bricks, and was here for spring camp. Saw quite a bit of playing time with some injuries there, and just wanting to rest players. It's just seeing some field time. It helps so much. But Nick, go ahead and talk about this young man real fast.
Yeah, just like I said, with Chase, it's nice to see players coming in, looking forward to linebackers. It seems like a lot of in the past we've seen bringing on talent and then kind of developing them into the linebacker aspect. So I'm looking forward to seeing these players that they're actually bringing in to specialty in the linebacker position. Kind of with the same thing with the high schoolers. It's kind of it's just a wait and see how they develop in fall camp. With the linebackers, I look at it as I did with when LVE emerged. Right, he came in as a walk-on, and then all of a sudden, who is this dude just lighting people up? And back then, we were able to go to the fall scrimmage, and now we don't get to see that, but. That is when these student athletes arise and they make a name for themselves. And many of the times it's at the linebacker position, because, that when you think about blue collar, that's what you think about the Leighton Vander Esch's, you think about the DJ Shrams and the likes of those. So I'm looking forward to seeing, the cream rise up.
Absolutely. Real quick, we'll bounce back to kicker. This is Roland Podesta. He's from Australia. We lose one Australian kicker and wish JFR, nothing but the best as a quacker over in Eugene. But I'm excited to see this young man. There seems I've read on some message boards and whatnot. People seem to think that he is just going to be an Australian punter. He is not. He's a kicker. He's coming in to kick. He can also punt, but he's going to be a legitimate kicker and try to win that spot this year. Give me some thoughts on that, Sam. Old Texas boy. Let's talk some Australian football.
He trained with Pro Crick Australia, which is an institution over there that specifically teaches how to change from Australian football to American football kicking. So there's not going to be that Australian kicking style. There may be special circumstances where they use that ability for like rollout kicks and stuff like that. But he's going to come in. He's going to put some bombs down. I'm going to move around a little, but I'm excited to see if he has that same production that past Boise State punters have had.
Yeah,
and we've had really good success with punters through the years. So he's I hope he's the next in a long line of successful punters that Boise State has had.
I completely agree. Nick, let's talk about Roland.
I hope he doesn't have to punt.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
but I was a little bit relieved to know that he wasn't an Australian kicker. I love that style, but if it's not on, then you can't always have that elite season like JFR did. And I mean, I like it. I like going back to a traditional punter, kicker, whatever. But I don't want him to punt. I want us to only score touchdowns. That's it.
That's right. That seems like a realistic goal. I don't know. Just 0 punts all season. I dig it. All right, fellas and viewers. Go ahead, Sam.
I was say don't say that, because the last time someone said you're not going to have to punt, it was Caleb Williams, and their punter almost put up more punting yards than Williams had passing yards. So
that's true. He did call
don't ever tell a punter you're not going to have to
punt. The rookie punter. That's very true. That's pretty funny, actually. That's a good call. Viewers, 2 hours, 36 minutes. This has been as much a journey for us as it has been for you. I appreciate Sam and Nick. We've all put in some work to get prepared for this, and I think this has been a lot of fun. I do want to throw one more promo up real fast. This is going to be for subscribers only. So, I hope you consider subscribing and helping out the Blue Elevation Group and giving to help this program build at a time that it needs to catch up a little bit in many ways. But so this interview is with Bryson Beaver, the current quarterback commit of the 2026 class. And here's just a quick promo. But for the fans that don't have that access, what kind of player are you on the field? How would you describe yourself?
I would say I'd say I'm like a pocket passer, like pro style quarterback, but I can move a little bit. I can extend the play, make some plays happen. But I'd also say you're getting like a great competitor, ultimate competitor who will do whatever they need to do to win and lead their team so they can win.
Yeah, and that's just part of our interview. It was about a 20-minute long interview. There's our promo for it. I hope you consider. Nick, where and how can they go to get up and be subscribed? Set up to be subscribed.
Yeah, but I just want to say, first of all, I love your content. I love the shows that you produce for subscribers only. That premium. That's how I got to know who Bethel Imison is. We have that special extended show with Alexander Madison, talking about giving that encouragement to Ashton Genty, and and of course the articles. You have the articles with the only outlet that got to interview Jabri Bickham. He chose you. So yeah, I think it's totally worth the $5.99 a month. Again, it's revenue shared with the university, so it helps out the university. It helps out these student athletes to get their name out there, and helps out the fan base to get to know them. So yeah, if you want to subscribe, go to BroncoNationUpdates.com/BTT, and then there you'll see a message. You click here, and I'll take you to the subscription page. Get your subscription, and then you'll get an account, and then you'll get unlimited access to the Blue Turf Talk with Chris V, that premium content. And then also another thing that Chris does is he offers free content too. So if you're still on the fence, just check out the YouTube channel and just check out his content. You'll love it, and then you'll want to come back and be a subscriber and help out the school.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, Nick. I do really enjoy having this opportunity. I feel very blessed to even have an audience. I'm still don't understand why people want to listen to me, but they do. So here I am again. Let's wrap it up, fellas. Let's give some final thoughts. Sam, let's end this night. What's up, buddy?
Yeah. So tonight was an idea that I had about a week ago, and I brought it with Chris and Nick to see if we could pull it off, to just go through and highlight all of the recruits. It was a longer show, but we wanted to let you guys know what was coming in, because I know it can be hard around the internet trying to find, okay, who's where, what are they doing. This show was thrown together with love and attention to getting the facts out there. The details may have been off a little, but hey, we put together a show that would take anybody months to prepare, and we put it together in a week for y'all. We're going to do this show again next year with the recruits next year, except we're going to do it a lot earlier so we can have a lot more recruits on that aren't on campus yet, that having that media blackout. And this was basically a trial run, and it was a successful one. We're going to make sure we put it out earlier next year. I'm excited about this class. I think it's the best defensive class Boise State's put together ever. If not, then at least a really long time. So between the defensive backs and the edge, I think Boise State's defense is going to be a menace next year. And with that, I yield back my time.
All right, Nick, close us out, buddy.
Yeah, I felt really blessed to be able to cover the future stars coming in to 2025, and we're going to get to enjoy them on the iconic blue turf. I have a lot of gratitude for you, Chris and Sam, for all that you do for Bronco Nation. And I also have a huge gratitude for the entirety of the fan base who come to Bronco Nation updates on a daily basis and are part of the multi-millions of views that you've shared with us. And I just want to encourage you to continue to show us support, because we are revenue sharing with the university. So every every sub on our YouTube channel goes to help out the university. Our heart bleeds blue. So I'm very grateful for everyone out there that stayed for the entire show. And if you're watching this at a later date, please share this, subscribe, like the video, and comment. And we will get back to you. We'll answer any question you have. And last but not least, I want to thank Dallyn Grimes and Chase Hatch for coming on the show and taking the time to talk to us. They are C26ers, but they're actually going to be 27. So they took some time out before their mission to spend some time with us old farts and talk some ball. So very, very appreciative of those two fine young men. But thank you, Bronco Nation, for joining us. And until next time, we'll see you. Bleed blue, go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Bronco Nation Live is brought to you by Blue Elevation and the Serving Bronco Nation directory. Hey, Bronco Nation, if you're looking for more followers, clients, or customers, check out ServingBroncoNation.com and get your business added to the directory. When you purchase a tax-deductible plan, you are investing in Boise State and getting access to millions of views throughout the year on the directory and the Bronco Nation network.